The command to love one another comes straight from Jesus in the Gospels. And it absolutely includes loving all of our neighbors, including the undocumented. It doesn't say, there's no exception in there. As a matter of fact, it says, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you, right? So it goes even further than that. So love encompasses everything. And remember that some of these undocumented workers, people, are parents we see at soccer games, at the construction sites. Some of them are churchgoers that stand along with us and we just don't realize it. Matthew chapter 25, as an example, calls to welcome the stranger. Leviticus chapter 19 talks about caring for the sojourner that is among us. Love does mean that we can see and we acknowledge the dignity and the families and the contributions that undocumented immigrants have made. The question is, does that mean that love is throwing open the borders and ignoring the laws? No. If you look at Romans chapter 13, it tells us to respect governing authorities. Borders and just laws, right? It should be a just law. They protect the common good. They're there for protection. They deter exploitation. They keep our communities, our families, our children safe. That is love. So love does not cancel the law. But what love does is it demands that the law is humane, it's proportionate, it's realistic. So deporting a decade-long resident, meaning a decade-long undocumented immigrant with US-born citizens and no rap sheet at all, just because they crossed a desert fleeing poverty, is that justice? Unlikely, right? On the other hand, should we just let chaos reign at the border, where cartels profit from drugs that kill thousands of people in the US every year? They kidnap children. They rape women. That is definitely not love, right? It's the opposite of love. So what we see is there is truly a balance to think through here, right? Christian leaders across the spectrum, whether they are Catholics, Protestants, evangelicals, many of them support the Dignity Act. They land somewhere in the space of, should we have secure borders? Yes. Should we enforce the laws against criminals and traffickers? Absolutely. But for long-term law-abiders, they say, let's offer an earned path. Let them pay a fine for restitution of the one-time illegal entry offense they committed. Pass a background check, learn English, etc., etc., etc. This way, let's offer them a chance to get right with the law. The way they think about it is like, this is love meeting justice, which is exactly what Christ did for us on the cross. And just for context, right? Church history shows this balance. Jesus did not direct his followers to not pay the extremely unjust Roman taxes. What did he say? Render to Caesar what is Caesar's, and render to God what is God's, right? The Apostle Paul asked Onesimus, who was a runaway slave, if you remember, to return to his master, Philemon. And if you think about the US history, abolitionists fought unjust laws while they were still honoring order to get the law overturned. So what is the bottom